Assalamualaikum everyone and welcome to our podcast. Today, we're talking about something that affected almost all of us during COVID-19, which is unemployment, especially in tourism sector.
Why are you running?
Tourism was one of the hardest hit industries when borders closed and travel stopped. Our discussion today is based on an article from New Straits Times called International Tourist Vital to Wider Economy. So before we jump in, let us introduce ourselves. I am your host, Ime Putra Mikael. Our first guest, Dina. Second guest, Azwa. And finally, our third guest and last guest, Myra. Let's clear one thing up. Unemployment basically means when people want to work and are able to work, but they can't find a job. During COVID-19, the main type of unemployment we saw in tourism was cyclical unemployment, when people lose job because the economy slows down. Let's start with how COVID-19 actually affected tourism workers. Starting with our first guest, Dina. What happened to tourism when COVID hit?
What happened during tourism when COVID hit? Basically, I said it just collapsed.
God, please, no! No!
Like really bad collapse.
Stop it.
Because one, border closed for international with outside the country and domestic inside the country. They dropped really bad. Like I said, like in 2020, they dropped really bad. Like that is 74% drop, which is a big number to drop. So, as the article mentioned in NSK, the international tourists are super important because they bring a lot of money. Without them, hotel, airlines, and tour company basically lost their main income. And they had to close their business. Some of them.
I see. So, tourism plays an important role and it creates a chain effect where when tourism drop, their hotel, airlines, and tour companies basically lost their main income. But how did that affect the workers?
So it's related to affect the workers because when the company need to close down, so some of them need to cut their staff and they need to cut their salary too. So some of them that who already fired from the company, like not really fired, like you fired, no.
Fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would.
It means the fired like need to fire because the company cannot pay for that. So a lot of people that time quietly lost their job. So airline cut crews, tour guide had no tours, so they need to close down their company for a while. And small souvenir like souvenir shop, small business like souvenir shop need to shut down. Oh no! You mean what I said? Like that. Some workers like I said, is when officially fired, but yeah, some of them need to their cut, or they need to told them not to come in only few weeks, few days until the pandemic became normal again. Like that. So some of them with that time okay, just sit down. Or some of them need to find their another job.
By what you said, some workers, was it only full unemployment?
Was it full unemployment? Not really, like I said. So we're not officially fired. They just a temporary not having a job and not getting a pay, not getting a salary. So some of them that unemployed, but many are underemployment. So meaning they need to work a few hours extra and need to find another job for a while, like a part-time job. So with a lower pay, anything as long as they get paid, just need to survive. Imagine that time, very hard. People need to survive. So overall unemployment in tourism increased during the pandemic because of that time lah. That time they need to survive.
Oh, God! Oh, God!
All people in our country just need to survive. So they need to find another job that suitable during that time. Just to find another job. Like food delivery. I think that time food delivery is still available, but they just need a contactless delivery. I mean, this is drop out and the customer will like that.
Damn!
I see. Thank you, Lina. Moving on to our second guest, Azwa. Could you tell me, how did all of this affect the economy?
Surely it will affect the GDP contribution and national foreign exchange. So basically, tourism contributes an extremely large amount of revenue to Malaysia, and the loss is a disaster. In 2019, tourists spent over 86 billion here, but by 2020, it has decreased rapidly to just 12.6 billion. This extreme large of decline has caused a major contraction in our service sector and dragged down the country's GDP. So it means we are losing a critical source of foreign exchange.
Tripping, bro.
The lower inflow of foreign exchange is putting significant pressure on the value of the ringgit and making our imports more expensive.
Wow, that's a huge drop, going from what, 18 billion to 12 billion? My question is, was it just tourism that suffered from all this tourism closure?
As the information, it not just only affect the tourism sector, but it is also give the negative impact on related industries. The crisis set off a devastating cascade effect that affected local supply chain and consumption. It is called the multiplier effect. So firstly, suppliers like fishermen and farmers lost their markets when hotels in place like Langkawi stopped ordering fresh produce. So secondly, workers who lost their jobs then stopped spending money at their local warungs like food stalls and neighborhood shops. This reduction in spending hit many small businesses hard, causing a wave of job losses outside the tourism sector.
I see. So, since tourism supports many other industries, when it was shut down, all other industries also took a hit from it. That's quite concerning. But what about the government? What did they what exactly did they suffer?
So of course, government is also affected, which is it increase in government social costs, where it is the government expenses. So the government had suffered a painful double whammy. On one hand, their spending had to be greatly increased, which is the government need to put in place such large social safety nets as the wage subsidy program, PSU, and the Bantuan Prihatin Nasional that we know as BPN, in order to keep people alive. On the other side, tax revenue fell as tourism business faced big loss, which is reducing corporate tax, and millions of jobless paid less income tax to cope with the same. At the same time, as tax were falling, spending was increasing and revenue falling, which is it led to a big jump in the nation's fiscal deficit.
Thank you, Azwa. So moving on, Myra, please give us some hope.
Stop it. Get some help.
Let's talk about the solution. What can be done?
Alright, so about the solutions that can be done is the government should introduce recovery plans like reopening borders in stages, giving out financial support for tourism businesses specifically, and also giving out travel incentives, because this help tourism slowly bounce back into this industry and they can rehire the workers more efficiently.
Very clever, taking it a step at a time to reduce errors. What about workers who lost their job? Any idea how to help them?
About the workers who lost their job, they should know that upskilling is really important, because tourism workers can learn new skills like digital marketing, online customer service, or even switch to related industries. This makes them more flexible if things like this, which is Covid-19, happens again in the future, because we'll never know what will happen in the future, right?
I am the one, the way your son.
And domestic tourism.
Okay, and for the domestic tourism, yes, promoting domestic tourism is the key, because by encouraging locals to travel within the country helps keep the tourism businesses running even when international travel is limited. So if our country still can be open to the outsiders on international travel, we can still keep it running by opening it to the domestic tourism.
I see. Thank you, Myra, for the brilliant solution. So, to conclude all of this and to wrap things up, COVID-19 caused major unemployment in the tourism sector because tourist arrivals dropped drastically. As mentioned in the NST article, international tourists are vital not just for tourism, but for the entire economy. With strong recovery strategies, worker upskilling, and domestic tourism, the industry can recover and become more resilient. So, thank you all for listening, and we do hope that you enjoyed our podcast. Thank you.